Is there a access point established there now that it's being used?
Two of them.
There's actually two driveways there, and we only use one of them, but there's two driveways. We have stored chips for seal coat jobs and some of those things. I think we piled some.
Okay, the two that are listed here are active.
Yeah, we only use one of them. Whether we're permitted for two driveways in the future or not, we can live with one good access point. There are two gates there.
There are two gates.
Yeah, that one just goes into a flat area.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna take that road up, going up there.
We should pick the best vision point on top of that knob someplace and make that the permanent long-term driveway.
Put that in your plan?
We will.
There wouldn't, you're going to use the one to the, like, that's to the southwest?
We're currently using the one that's more easterly.
Okay.
And that's the main quarry entrance.
Right, that's the
That's
little
main
border,
one.
yeah.
And you're saying you're gonna change from that one to the other one?
We should look at that. We should maybe move it to one, maybe that's the spot, or maybe a little bit west of there is a better spot. And make one consolidated entrance point would be the best thing to do.
In the best sightline
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking too, the sightline is gonna, you know, influence it a lot too.
Because that's gonna have to go to the county instead of,
Probably, huh?
Yeah, for a driveway access, but they'd probably be grateful to go from two access points to one access point.
Yeah.
So you said there's no wash plant, and all the topsoil will be, not all the way, it'll be just burned up?
Yeah, I mean, we'd maybe like the ability to wash aggregate there in the future, but we have no, we'd have to drill a high cap well and build some ponds, which is not out of the realm of possibility, but,
For right now, it's just dry.
yeah. We'd have to look at that, but, yeah, we'd like that capability if we could maybe move a wash plant in there at some point.
Where would the water from the wash plant go?
For a minute, let us finish our questions and then we'll open it up. How's that? Any other questions from the,
So the small triangle on the other side of the road that's outlined in red, that's just the outline of the site, or?
Yeah.
That was grandfathered, but it's really not mineable over there. I mean, it's too small of a triangle.
What, the red is the parcel,
Yep.
Correct.
and the blue is the potential?
That's where the mineable rock is.
Yep. Okay, got it.
So a lot of that northeast corner, we wouldn't touch, we'd leave that wooded. And in fact, we'd leave most of it wooded, and just strip off and harvest the trees as we need to. We're not gonna clear cut anything.
Yep.
any other questions from the board? Would you introduce yourself, ma'am?
My name's Gretchen Cook,
your address?
from La Crescent, City of La Crescent.
The city?
City?
Yes,
This is a township meeting, ma'am. No, I'm serious.
but it affects our water. Where is the
Ma'am,
runoff going
this is
to
a
go from
it's a
this?
township meeting for township residents.
It's our water, it's everybody's water.
It's a township meeting, ma'am.
See the response you get when you go to a city meeting.
Are you going to publish this?
It'll be in the minutes, sure. It's
I
available.
mean, in the newspaper, or?
Not
Are you going to-
routinely, we don't pay for space that we don't have to. I mean, the conditional use permit, when it's applied for, all of the documentation will be outlined in it, and it'll be available either through the town hall, or we'll post it where we usually do our legal notices.
The library.
It's appropriate to have township people perhaps speak first, but this is a public meeting, and anybody from the public is permitted to speak. So the lady actually has a right to ask a question.
And your name?
I'm Jeremy Chips.
Do you live in the township?
I have
Do you have-
I have property in the township, yes, sir.
Okay.
I do, so I'm allowed to speak as well.
Would you like to speak?
And even if I didn't have property in the township,
you
I
like
would
to
still
speak?
speak, sir.
Would you like to speak?
I will, but when she's done, or when you're
Would
done.
you like to speak?
In a moment, I will.
Now is your time.
Are you finished with the lady?
Now is your time.
Sure. I think the lady was asking a question, which I'd be happy to reiterate because I have a couple of questions myself. She asked you where the water was going to go, of which she was going to use, which actually, sir, perhaps you could continue her line of questioning. It's a reasonable question to ask.
Yeah. First of all, we haven't seen the application if they're gonna have a wash plant there. So we
But
don't
you're
know
not
that.
stopping
He
it
he just
either.
said that
We
they'd like
haven't, ma'am, we have not seen the application. This is a very preliminary meeting where they're bringing information to us, so we can actually go back and do some research with definitive questions for the public meeting. There's no decision that can be made tonight. There's no decision that will be made. This is strictly informational.
You're setting the outlines of what can and cannot be done.
Have you heard anything from this board that says what we will allow or not allow? We've asked questions.
I've
Have
heard
you
what
asked?
they want us, want.
Have you, but we haven't even seen their final application.
But I think people are asking questions here, and those are
We
We
reasonable
don't have the
questions.
answers. We do not have the
But that's why the
answers.
gentlemen are here. And you actually are not asking questions now, the public's asking questions. So why don't we go back to that, shall we?
Why don't you wait your turn, okay?
You asked me to
Wait
speak.
Speak your questions.
I already did, he's answering it.
Okay, we will answer in a very general
You're in the
way.
wrong league.
I will let Andrew talk in a minute about all
course.
the permits that we have to get,
Thank you.
some before and some after the township of La Crescent.
Sure.
Along with MPCA, DNR, Houston County, there's a whole myriad of other permits. But in general, if we were to wash, we would drill a high cap well that's permitted by the DNR.
Sure.
We would take some of the clay overburden as we create our wash ponds. We will line those ponds with clay, and then we will wash the limestone aggregate, and we will recycle about 90% of our water. And then we will only use the high cap well to add water to the ponds as we need to. Now, we do use water on our crushing plants to control dust. We haul that in with water trucks. We buy a lot from the city of La Crescent, city of La Crosse, city of Onalaska. We buy water all over the place and we haul it to our crushers. So when we do utilize the wash plant, obviously it's April or May till November. So we wash a very limited schedule. The plant comes and goes, so it's maybe there 3 weeks to a month. We put up some piles, we leave. So it's not like it's a municipal well, we're constantly pumping
Sure.
5,000 gallons a minute, 24/7, we're not doing that.
Sure.
Andrew can speak about what the MPCA and the DNR do control.
Yeah, that high-capacity well, you need a water appropriation permit, which would be fairly minimal because there's not a lot of water use at all. It's just to top off wash ponds.
Sure.
That's an extensive application. That water use is monitored by the Minnesota DNR also. We have to report that annually. And that 10% loss is something that we've agreed upon with the DNR, something that is typical that they accept. We don't believe it's that much water that actually gets through that clay liner. It's very thick and competent. But through evaporation and things, that 90% number is given. In this case, because it's a ridgetop quarry, it'd be internally drained. There would be no stormwater leaving the site
Sure.
from any operations area.
And do you currently use, is there a list of chemical products that you currently utilize? And could you, you don't have to give me all, but this,
We have two
the list.
approved flocculants.
Sure.
Approved by Minnesota. They are site-specific, so they have to be approved by site, per site. Flocculants are a little bit unknown, they've got a bad rap, but laundry detergent is a flocculant. There's flocculants used in water treatment facilities that we drink. So there are different types of flocculants.
Sure.
We only use the ones that are approved there. Again, as the board is indicating, this is all hypothetical. We wash at Winona, we wash up at John Abnett's, or actually John does. We wash down in Caledonia. So today, there's no reason for us to wash aggregate out here. It would strictly be a dry
Sure.
mined quarry. At some point in the future, maybe 25 years out, we may need to look at washing there, and then we would do all these things we're talking about. So,
Sure.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd like a clarification. You're not anticipating that would be part of this conditional use permit?
Well, we requested it be in there, but again, it's not something we're intending on doing.
So you're saying you want that,
Condition in there that we could
is
wash.
that right?
could you,
Subject to all these
They
other
can ask for
approvals.
anything they have.
Yeah, I tend, well, whatever, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. that's
We
fine.
consider that all part of the mineral processing,
Okay.
crushing, washing, screening. You make riprap for the river, that's a screening process. You make concrete egg for the highways around here, that's a, you know, it's a washing egg. Road bases are just a crushing egg. So to us, it's all part of the aggregate processing process.
And within the application, if you were going to be at any time choosing to use that option to use, would you be including the names of the products in the application in the MSDS sheets, SDS sheets?
You bet.
Okay. The size of the aggregate, that I used to work in a quarry and I spent 20 years in the chemical industry, so I know something about it. But the size of the aggregate, is it strictly just for aggregate? The large boulders, small boulders, the size of the aggregate? Is there much any or sand or any product like that within the quarry, this particular quarry?
We make everything from river riprap down to the small manufactured sand that we actually use in blacktop and concrete. So
Sure.
we'll make it all. Obviously, there's no river sand or natural sand there. So if we would ever blend that product, we'd have to haul it in there and blend it with our aggregates. But typically, the aggregates will leave here and go to a ready mix plant, go to our asphalt plant, where the sands are hauled to. So
Sure.
only in that case where we would come for a special conditional use to set a temporary plant there would we probably haul the sand into that site. So again, it's gonna have to be twice as big as it is today to even fit something like that in there, so.
Sure. I have a weightier, probably a larger question, which may or may not be something you could answer in full. One of the issues I think that the township is probably looking at, or should be looking at if they're not, but they probably are, as well as the county, and even the city of La Crescent. The city of La Crescent's in the process of formulating their new comprehensive plan for the next 20 years, looking forward. Is one of the parts is, and I happen to be on an infrastructure committee as well, road use, taxes for increased cost of road. You know, sometimes in your 20-year road doesn't last as long in certain areas, as this particular committee knows. Is there any part of the application or any of the subject matter that goes into road use, either in the township or leading out of the township? Loaded question, I know.
It is. I mean, our vehicles pay use tax just like everybody else. When you get into the use of township roads, yeah, we do stipulate and have some agreements on township roads. State trunk highways, county trunk highways, we're right in with everybody else's traffic, and we feel we pay, you know, unless there's extenuating circumstances where we are, you know, gonna be doing something really high volume that we're gonna add a lot of traffic to that road. But typically, only when we get talking about township roads will we talk about maintenance fees